And today, we hope we can honour the efforts of these people with some fabulous football from the visiting New York Magpies and your own Nashville Kangaroos as they bring the spirit of camaraderie, sportsmanship together on the field here at Elmington Park. And I'd like us to also give a huge round of applause to Captain Steve Trico and Chief Rick Taylor, firemen, comrades, friends. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy some footy.
Go Pies!
Come on, Pies!
Main event right now. The New York Magpies, soon to be champions of the North East Australia Football League, and the Nashville Kangaroos, your very own Mid-American champions for 2002. Let's hear it for the Roos! This is bound to be an absolutely titanic struggle between two of the powerhouses of football in the country, all for the prize of the Barassi Cup, the most prestigious trophy in Australian rules football in this country, barring a national championship. Our
11.
umpires for today are
11.
umpire Craig Warner and umpire Rob Kelly. Goal umpires are Drew Dunlop and David Shockley. We'll be playing a 4 20-minute quarters with a 15-minute half-time. There'll be no holds given. Umpire holds the ball aloft and we're ready to get underway here in this fantastic clash. Umpire Warner bounces the ball and the big men fly. Brinker for Nashville, loses it to New York. Allen's there for Nashville, scoops it up, gets the Shepherd from Waller. Looks downfield, puts it under the left boot to the leading person, can't take the mark. Falls to ground, picked up by New York, races around the boundary line. Puts it on the right, but it's off the side of the boot and over the boundary line on the full. And that'll be a free kick to Nashville on the centre wing position. So John Nelson with the free kick now, looking for movement up front. He has it, puts it under the right boot, looking for the leading Gilbert. Gilbert flies high, almost takes a mark. McCrosty rows the pack, breaks away, tries to get rid of it, but took too long, says the umpire, and that'll be a free kick against Benjamin McCrosty. So New York will take over possession deep in the back line.
Yes, indeed, 24, Andrew, I think it is there with the ball. Although they're calling Tomo, so I may have that wrong as the ball goes long. Taken well under pressure there by Justin Allen. Speedy looks down the field looking for his options. Pop it back into the forward line. He's got a couple of leads across and back by Morosevich and Gilbert. Eventually pops it long, looking for the one-on-one contest in the goal square. Punched away by the New York defence though, towards the boundary line. Or I should say through for one behind for a single score. So that's one behind to the Nashville Kangaroos, first score of the day. Relax, kicks it out of defence, long and floating, well taken there by 25 in Mantiris. It plays on quickly, ball goes down the field towards the forward line. There's been a little action behind the ball though by the looks of things.
And the free kick will go down the field to number 6, who was calling for Mark Galella. Plays on immediately, puts it under the right boot to the leading number 19. Tommy Hayes can't take it. Ball comes to ground. Duffy's there for Nashville. Hayes is still in it. Picked up there by Mansaris. Mansaris looking for an option. Takes forever to get rid of it. Finally does. Out to Duffy. Lets go of it. Duffy again back into it. The umpire says, hold on son, you've been holding on to him without the footy. That'll be Benny McCrosty's free kick on the half-back flank for the Nashville Kangaroos.
So McCrosty goes short down the far wing and finds Persons in some space. Chris Duffy, goes short kick looking for the leading Morosevich, couldn't find him. Picked up eventually by nobody in particular, by Juice for the New York team. He pops it onto the right boot, smothered well though by Visetka. Ball eventually bobbles down towards the half forward line for
Tommy, immediately put under pressure there by Nashville, gets the ball out towards the half forward wing. Vishadeshka's in there for Nashville. Ball straight down to the pack by, looks like Luminato there. Over towards James Patterson, puts it in straight towards Chucky Kelvold. Under pressure, Kelvold picks it up though, looks for the big ones. Across the face though, the ball sits, props and rolls through, and that's one behind only to Chucky Kelvold by the New York Magpies. And both sides now, one behind even for a total of 1 point. So in an unaccustomed role, Adam Carter playing at fullback, looking for the leads now.
And he's got Vasetka on the far wing, although he's going to overkick him, looking towards the middle of the ground with Mirosevic under some pressure though by Malaki from behind. Nice pressure, and the ball eventually goes out of bounds on the far wing.
That was a booming kick from Carter that hurt the all of 55 yards. And we're back at the centre wing position now after one kick. And the ball will be thrown in on the centre wing position by Nashville. Ball back into play now, Mansaris and Brinker. Brinker wins this one over the back to Duffy. Patterson lays the tackle. Luminato's there, drives it in towards the centre of the ground.
Nice pressure there.
Wilson Howard
stumbled all over ourselves.
Screws it around into the goals. Chucky can't mark it. Kicked off the ground by Link, and the ball over the boundary line and for a boundary throw-in. Calvold claiming a free kick, but in the forward line, the New York Magpies should throw it in, but we'll see what happens. Waiting for a New York player to get over there to even up the numbers of the boundary throw-in. Always an advantage to be had there as the ball comes back into play. This one won by tapped off the ground there, but only as far as Mounts for Nashville. Mounts gets hands off to Link, who races around, puts it onto the right boot, drives it towards the boundary line. But that's gone over the boundary line and out of bounds on the full for a free kick to the New York Magpies deep in their forward pocket.
So once again, the ball will be popped back into play. Ladies and gentlemen, as you've noticed already, if the ball gets kicked over the boundary line on the full, the opposing team gets to kick it back in. If the ball trickles over, has touched the ground or come off someone's hands, then the umpire will throw it in. So in that instance, Link had kicked the ball over the boundary line and did not touch the ground or a player, so the New York team will kick it in.
Guy Luminato now on a stiff angle, puts a boot to the ball. It's a floater sitting up there. Tommy flies high, can't take it. Ball comes to the ground. Hayes is ridden into the ground, and umpire Kelly says, "Son, you're all over his back," and a free kick to number 19 and Tommy Hayes there, New York Magpies. 45 degrees, about 10 yards there.
Yes, indeed, somewhat undisciplined. A penalty there by the Nashville defenders as Hayes is standing back to line up his kick. He hasn't pulled up the socks, but he pops it low under the right boot and drifts it through for a goal. First goal of today goes to the New York Magpies.
Tommy Hayes leading them along to 1 goal, 1 behind, 7 points to the Nashville Kangaroos, 1 behind, 1 point. This is certainly going to be a titanic struggle, Marcus, as the ball comes back to the centre. Let's talk about some of our fabulous sponsors if you look down there. Of course, you can see 2 of the club's biggest sponsors, the Outback Steakhouse and Bearware, to help get this club rolling along.
Yes, indeed, along with McPherson's Wines and Jack Daniels, popular supporters of the Nashville Kangaroos.
Indeed they are, as the ball's back in the centre with umpire Craig Warner, who will restart play with Mansaris and Brinker to do the ruck work. The ball flies high.
Big men up in the middle. Brinker wins that one. Tap down to no one's great advantage. Waller's pursuing it. Picked up though by Kallela. Holds onto it on the ground, and the umpire says he couldn't get rid of it. And he'll ball it up on the edge of the centre square. So once again, we're going to have the big man up, and that one's won by New York. Tap down to the rover there, who pushes it towards centre half forward. Picked up nice and clean, and hand pass off to the running Kalala. Kalala almost gets taken high, but manages to get rid of it under some pressure. Addison puts it onto his right boot towards the contest of Carter and Hayes, I think it is, in the forward line. Eventually picked up by Chucky. Looked like it was almost smothered off the boot. Didn't go 10 though, so the play will continue.
And the umpire says, "I'll bounce that up, son." There's a little bit of confusion there, but the ball must travel 10 yards to be a legal kick, so the umpire throws the ball up. Tommy Wilson's in there, can't win the tap down. Picked up on the cross, he gets a hand pass out under enormous pressure there from 4 in Guy Luminato, and the ball beats them all to the boundary line and will be thrown in New York's forward pocket.
Yes, indeed. Some nice flowing play from the midfield there by the Magpies. But once again, the ball will be thrown in on the boundary line near the Magpies scoring end. Umpire happy with that throw, although some of the players weren't, as eventually Chewy breaks through, puts it onto the right boot, looking long, but Juice is there by himself for the Magpies. He takes the mark.
Puts a short kick in there and just travels the required distance as Patterson comes racing past. Puts it onto the right boot, into the centre of the ground, and Wilson takes a diving mark at New York Magpies. Magpies on the run now. Wilson looking for the lead, however, from Calvold. Punched away by Carter. The ball comes to the pocket and over the boundary line there by James Patterson, the New York coach, wearing Paul Williams, famous number 10 jersey.
As the ball once again gets thrown into ground, we've got Waller there for Nashville, wins the tap down to Vasetka, who are immediately under some pressure, and ball goes down to ground. Swarmed upon by a group of Magpies and Kangaroos there. Justin Allen's at the bottom of that pack. Eventually the ball comes clear through McCroskey, but gets dragged back in once again. And eventually spurts out the back there and picked up by Tommy Wilson, throws it onto the right boot from a sharp angle at a corner pocket. Looks like he's pushed that one across the face though, and Chopper Duffy trying to trace it down before it reaches the boundary line unsuccessfully.
And over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. It's very tight in the clinches here today. Marcus near side about to give a quarter and diving in for everything as the ball comes back into play in the pack forms. Punched away there by Wilson, right, straight over to number 19 who goes straight for goal. And it's gone across the face, sent through for a behind. That was clever play, a nice tap out there from Wilson. And Tommy Hayes puts it through for a behind.
So once again the ball will be kicked in by Adam Carter, playing full back for the Nashville Kangaroos down there in number 8.
Looking for his leads, they break now. Carter puts it long and high out towards the wing position.
He's looking for Mirosevic in the middle, but screaming from behind there is Malaki. And eventually the ball goes to ground. The umpire rules that no one could have gotten rid of it. Nice jump there by Malaki for the New York, playing in 15. As the ball gets bounced in the centre of the ground, Waller wins that tap out, but only as far as the Magpies rover manages to get back and spoil the kick. But eventually he's clear towards the half-forward line for New York. Couldn't quite take the mark there was Hayes. Ball's on the ground once again. Hand pass off, but only as far as Tidwell, who couldn't quite get rid of it in time. Rocco chasing after it as he's...
Gets quick hands out to McCroskey. McCroskey can't pick it up. Gets tackled immediately by Wilson. McCroskey still on the ground. Forces the ball out to where Rocco contends for it, but the ball under pressure spills over the boundary line for a boundary throw in on New York's half-forward flank. Nashville's half-back flank. It's desperately and baitless out there, Marcus.
It is indeed desperate stuff as the ball goes in and gets tapped down by New York and pumped towards the middle by Bell. Or is that he's on the lead, manages to get himself in front of Carter, goes to sock it off the ground and couldn't. And eventually Carter sockers it towards the far boundary line. Link looks like he's going to be able to pick it up. But the ball beats them over the boundary line. Nice contest there between Chucky, number 28 for New York, and Adam Carter of the Kangaroos.
At the 9-minute mark of the first quarter, and this is going to go all day. The ball's ready to come back into play. Looks like Wilson and Brinker wins this one down to Duffy. Can't control it. Luminato there gets quick hands out, too quick for number 2 there. Finally backs up and picks it up though, but under pressure from Mirosevic. The ball spills out to Brinker, who can't pick it up. Does so now, gets immediately tackled. The ball again spills out. Mirosevic is tackled onto the ground. Hand passes into the app. Only as far as looks like Wilson there, as Patterson. Pack forms, no one can take it. Comes to ground again and over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
So nice contest there between Bell and McCroskey under the ball. Neither of them able to take it cleanly as the ball will once again get thrown in on the half-forward line for New York. Plucked out of the ruck there by McCluskey, but eventually gets spilled to ground. No one can make good use of it. Socket off the ground by Brinker for Nashville, but it's all Magpies until the streaming Mirosevic comes on through. Nelson trying to get some hands on it with lots of pressure there also on number 15 in Malaki.
But the umpire says, this isn't going to clear out, fellas. Give it to me, spread yourselves out, and we'll get this game back underway.
Yes, indeed. Reasonably scrappy stuff, you'd have to suggest, so far here today. None of the clean, flowing play that we've seen over the last several weeks as once again the ruckman fly. Looks like New York just had the edge in that one.
And Manzares punches it towards the boundary line for a throw-in on the true centre wing position. The ball comes back into play. Manzares tries to take it out of the air. McCroskey's there, gets ridden into the ground. The ball is there and the umpire says that's a trip, son, and the Nashville player has got the New York player by the leg. There'll be a free kick to New York as well as delivers the ball back.
So the Nashville defence drop and try and set up some coverage further down the field as the ball, looking for his options, pops it onto the right boot. It's a long floating kick down the middle. He's got someone in the centre, but it's a Nashville Kangaroo.
In the person of Chris Duffy, taking a safe mark in defence.
Chucky Chopper Duffy.
Duffy puts it onto the right boot, throwing high and long, looking for Johnny Nelson out on his own, on a big lead off the wing there. Nelson has it now looking upfield. Puts it hard and high, looking up there for Person. Ball flies over the bottom and the person's got the lead in that race, so gets a hold of it, hand passes into the court, into the ground as he's pulled off the ball. To New York's advantage, drives it back up in centre half forward position. McCrosty's there, gets ridden into the ground, no eyes for the ball, James Patterson, and Ben McCrosty will take the free kick at the 45 metre mark of the Nashville forward line.
So he's got some options down the field. He's got Gilbert on the lead, but he's going to make him stand and wait for it. Punched from behind by the fullback, but he's draped it over his shoulder. Wayne Andrew, a little unfortunate there in giving up the free kick against
Indeed, it was
Tony Gilbert.
Clever play by Gilbert. He stopped and propped, and the fullback had no choice but to reach over his shoulder. It was a clear decision there, and Wayne Andrew had no other choice. So Gilbert will have the set shot at goal from about 35 out on about a 30-degree angle. Umpire blows time back on, and Gilbert lines up the big ones.
So Tony Gilbert's popped it on the right boot. It looks as if it may have drifted just a little bit right, but what does the umpire say? Yes, he's pushed it right and he's gone through for one behind. Nashville Kangaroos 2, New York Magpies 8. Low scoring first quarter here with 5.5 minutes on the clock as Magpies will put a ball back into play.
Both teams try to find their game. Ball driven back into the towards Limonado there.
Well spoiled by Duffy, eventually picked up by Rocco, couldn't quite get the hand pass away, and the New York Magpies stream out, but he may have put that off the side of his foot, Bell did.
And it's over the boundary line, but I think the umpire has picked out a free kick.
Hi.
Or was it really out of bounds?
A full beer.
Anyway, ball gets kicked back in by Nashville towards centre half forward. Standing by himself
is Juice, OJ Desai. So OJ now with the ball deep in defence for the Magpies, puts it onto the right boot, looking for the big men up there. And Patterson takes a strong mark there. I think that's Patterson, or is it...
Yep, standing in front of Duffy, quickly plays on, pops it onto the right boot, down towards the competition at centre half forward. Eventually picked up once again by the Magpies, and
huge tackle laid on Wilson there, but gets the hands off to Mansaras, who races through. Hands off again to number 19 for
Hayes, once again. Oh, he's put it right up the middle as Hayes for the Magpies. Fantastic effort there.
Indeed, New York running in numbers there, and Hayes broke through the pack and made no mistake as he ran towards those open goals.
Yes, indeed. Finally managing to get a flow of play together there, the Magpies. Several short passes, standing up under pressure in the tackle, and some quick hands. Eventually the reward going to Hayes for the Magpies, bringing them along to 2 goals too.
Come on, Billy! Go, Rockstar!
So umpire Kelly back in the centre of the ground now with the ball waiting for the big men to fly here. Mansaras and Brinker. This one goes up. Mansaras wins it clearly. McDuffie's there for Nashville. Avoids one, gets the running Mounts through. Mounts puts it onto the right foot, looking for Nelson down there. Mirosevic flies across the face of the pack, can't pick it up. Desai is there, gets it across to Patterson onto the left boot, up towards the wing position. It's floating high and wide. Tommy Wilson flies high, but the ball is over the boundary line. Off hands for a boundary throw in at the centre wing position as the ruckman race into position. The ball comes back in, this one's short. The umpire says, hold on son, let's try that one again. By Illuminato, you're a great kicker, lousy boundary umpire.
As once again, Illuminato will throw it in on the far boundary line. That one looks a little bit better up towards the contest there. No clear victor though, ball goes to ground. That's Mirosevic at the bottom of the pack, couldn't pick it up.
The umpire
No, it wasn't. He's standing off to the left with his hands on his knees. Must have been Duffy.
So umpire Kelly moves in to clear it out, throws the ball high, and the big man up again. This one won by Brinker. Straight to Duffy, straight onto the boot, around to the open Mounts. Mounts kicks it across the centre, looking for Mirosevic. A huge leap there by Desai as Waller picks up the crumbs, however, puts it onto his right boot, looking for Nelson down there. Nelson in front, can't take the mark, puts it onto the left boot, drives it into Gilbert waiting. Gilbert makes no mistake, and the Nashville Kangaroos on the scoreboard through the aid of Tony Gilbert and John Nelson and Troy Mounts.
Yes, indeed. Nice play there by Mounts. Managed to pick up the ball. Went the short option towards Waller. Was a little bit surprising, but Waller eventually managing to pump it long in towards the Nelson contest. And unselfish play, manages to pop it over the top. He notices Gilbert's man's left him in the goal square.
What's that?
and delivers the ball to him.
Can we what?
Indeed, as the ball comes back into the centre, we want to point out to the ladies and gentlemen here today the wonderful banners around, all of whom highlight our sponsors and events. Outback Steakhouse West End,
They're pretty
with
well
Thurston's
organised, these
Wine,
guys,
Jack
aren't they?
Daniels as the ball flies high. The big men, this one won by Brinker to Mirosevic. Quick hands off to Duffy. Short, lethal pass looking for the leading Gilbert, can't pick it up. Comes to ground and punched off by number 24.
Nelson eventually picks it up. He's run it through, tying the scores up at 2-2. Fantastic run there by Nelson. Great pressure by Gilbert and excellent quick hands out of the middle with the Mirosevic Duffy working together.
Yes, it appears as though both teams have now settled down into their rhythm. And we are in for a treat of football here today, ladies and gentlemen. It really will not get better than this. The New York Magpies and the Nashville Kangaroos, two of the best sides you could ever hope to see play in the United States.
Yes, indeed, tied up at 14 apiece here with just over a minute to play in the first quarter as the umpire brings the ball back towards the middle of the ground. As my partner in crime said, it's going to be a tough and torrid day out there. I think we're going to see some tired legs before the day is over. So once again, the ball goes up. This one won clearly by New York, but only as far as Chad Huey, who pops it back in the direction of Tidwell. Manages to get it onto the boot towards Nelson. He's in front of some pressure applied there by Dougie Lewis. But the ball eventually makes it to the boundary line.
It goes over the boundary line and out for a boundary throw-in on Nashville's half-forward flank.
Yes, indeed. So, once again, their trademark style of play, Nashville Kangaroos trying to get some flow happening, try and keep the ball moving nice and quickly. But New York Magpies are here today to say, nope, that's not the way it's going to be as the ball goes in. Won by New York, tapped back towards the boundary line. Picked up eventually by Nelson, who swings it towards the waiting Jeff Persons. Goes quick hands off long, looking for Waller, but intercepted there by number 2 in Simon Bell.
Off to Mirosevic. Mirosevic breaks, lines up the big ones. The umpire moves across.
Looks fairly good from here.
But it's faded at the last moment and through for one behind. Nashville, 2 goals, 3 behinds, 15 points. To the New York Magpies, 2 goals, 2, 14. As the siren sounds to end what has been a classic quarter of football.
Absolutely, a fantastic effort by both teams out there so far. Possibly lining up to be the best football game that we've seen all year. Nice and tight first quarter. 1 point the difference. Nashville Kangaroos 2 goals, 3-15. New York Magpies 2 goals, 2-14.
Indeed, Marcus, and at the quarter-time break, let's let some of the people know about some of the wonderful things going on around them today and coming up in the future. Right behind us we have PB and Humphreys. The ball, the siren sounds, the whistle goes, he checks the freckles and moves in. And the big men fly. Mansaris and Waller. Mansaris wins this one, but only Vishadeska puts in the bump as well as picks up the ball. Limonato's in there, can't pick it up. Vishadeska's still in there, gets the hands off quickly. And is tackled high after he got rid of the ball, and so that will be D. Vishadeska putting his body on the line, the captain of the Nashville Kangaroos.
Looking for the free kick from the centre half back line. He looks for his leads down the field. He's got a few options. Eventually pops it onto the right boot short, looking for Duffy wide on the wing, but overshot the mark and the ball's gone out of bounds.
Indeed.
Centre wing on the far side of the ground.
Right in front of the Outback Steakhouse West End sponsors sign. Did I mention the Outback Steakhouse West End are a sponsor where you can buy McPherson wines? The ball comes back into play. The big men fly. No one's clear advantage. Duffy jumps high but can't get it. McCrosty's held. Pulled off the ball without possession of it, but the ball's still in the pack there. The umpire says, hold on son, I'll clear that one out as well.
Yes, again, I think a little bit of scrappy stuff there by both teams as umpire Warner walks in once again. Throws the ball up in the middle of the ground. Big men fly that one, won by Brinker, only as far as Waller, who immediately handed the ball over to Barassi, who pumps it down half forward. Carter's there to try and spoil, eventually plucked off by Carter once again, manages to go back and pick up the crumbs, throws it onto his right boot, looking for the leading Nelson, picks it up under some pressure, eventually going to ground, but Nelson gets penalised for pushing in the back.
Indeed he does, and that'll be a free kick there to
Pavlovic.
Pavlovic puts it under the right boot in towards the centre half forward position. Brinker just uses the height and steps up tall over the top of Kohler there. Steve Kohler. The ball comes high towards Mirosevic, who punches it forward. But there's Juice there. Little Juice pumps the ball towards the boundary line, chases after it, and it's over the boundary line for the boundary throw. Mirosevic complaining about something, but the umpire's so happy with the whistle.
He was asking the question as to whether the ball had in fact been flung over the boundary line rather than punched, as once again the ball comes in, and once again it goes out. That was the most thorough piece of commentary you'll hear today.
The ball comes back into play now. Brinker wins this one clearly, puts it onto the right boot, drives it towards the goals, but Gilbert can't get to it, and across the face of goals, through for one behind. That was quick thinking by Brinker. Very quick in the ruck is John Brinker, and has developed that excellent skill as the ball comes back into play. It's short in towards Patterson. Takes an easy chest mark in front of Person. Patterson now driving it long across along the wing, looking there for Lally, and the ball beats them all over the boundary line on the Porta Potty wing here at Elmington Park.
Yes, and once again the ball gets thrown. Just in case you're wondering where the Porta Potty was, as the ball comes flying in, this time won by New York, tapped down, but only as far as Visetka, who brings it to ground in the middle of the pack. I think the umpire will step in and say that no one could get rid of that. And once again,
they'll bounce the ball up on the centre wing position. It's a bit warm out there, but these guys are not going to give in either side. The ball goes up. Brinker wins this one clearly to Mirosevic. Breaks off one tackle, gets pulled down in the other one. The ball on the ground, no one can pick it up. And across the boundary line once more for a boundary throw-in.
Yes, indeed, some words of encouragement coming out there from the Kangaroos benches. Once again, the ball gets tapped down and eventually picked up by
Kalali, tackled by Vishadeshka, making no attempt to get rid of it, but picked up there by McCrosty, who tries to get rid of it. But the umpire says, no, son, you didn't try to get rid of it. And that will be a free kick to the New York Magpies on their half-forward flank.
Boundary umpire needs to deliver the ball back to the player to whom the penalty has been given, and eventually that occurs. The lead is on for the New York Magpies. No one at home though, as the ball's eventually pumped long towards the pack. No one's able to take it cleanly, punched off by Link only as far as is that Carter there at the bottom of the pack, or is that Visetka?
Vishadeshka is wrapped up in the tackle by the New York forward attacking players, and umpire Warner throws the ball high again. The big men fly. This one thumped away by New York to Hayes, who throws that one out, puts it onto the left boot, and the ball's bouncing towards goal, and it's not.
That's a good looking kick though.
It's Tommy Hayes kicked another. Tommy Hayes is on fire.
Tommy Hayes, I believe that was his third of the game.
I think I've got a bet on with him. If I kick 6, I've got to do something rude.
20 to Nashville Kangaroos.
I think it's wearing a dress or getting naked or something.
And this is going to be a slugfest all day, Marcus.
Yes, indeed, it would appear that way. We've got a 4-point differential with 15.5 minutes yet to play in the second quarter. So we've played 25 minutes of football already, and we've got a whole ton yet to come here today, as once again the umpire throws the ball up in the middle of the ground. Big men are up. New York wins that one, tapped down only as far as Patterson, puts it onto the left boot, was it? Pumped down towards the half-forward line. Carter wins the foot race, puts a toe on it as far as Allen almost manages to run into his own player, and eventually penalty given to New York.
The umpire saying Adam Carter had no eyes for the ball as the ball comes in.
Oh yes, you beauty. Chucky's got it. It's finally got one after playing for it so much.
By Link, and that would be a free kick to Sculwell, but to play on, and the umpire has...
Oh, Matty B's got it.
And it's a goal to the New York Magpies.
Matty B, there he goes. He's
somewhat perplexing series of play there, ladies and gentlemen, but the end result of that was a goal to the New York Magpies.
Moving them to 4 goals 2, 26. The Nashville Kangaroos, 2 goals 4, 16.
So the players come back towards the middle of the ground. Nashville trying to regroup a little bit. The ball's gone up in the centre of the ground once again. Rough one by New York.
Look at that.
Once again cleared efficiently, but the centre manages to get it taken high around the neck as he got rid of it. Eventually Nelson takes the mark down on centre half forward. A little bit of pressure underneath the ball there. Ball goes short, but only as far as the New York defender. Nice scrambling defence there by the Magpies, managing to get back in time.
So New York looking for the options upfield now, puts it high towards the wing position. Flying across the front is Duffy, pulled out of the contest. Patterson kicks the ball around the corner though, looking for Wilson there. Wilson runs the ball over the boundary line, but no, the ball's still in play. Picked up there by Huey, who's immediately tackled into the ground, and the umpire will clear it out once more with a ball up.
Yes, indeed, some wonderful passages of play here. A couple of little sloppy patches, but overall the ball's moving reasonably cleanly as umpire Warner will once again toss the ball up into the air. This one's tapped down. No clear winner actually in that one. Eventually the New York ruckman manages to get rid of it. He'll get called for holding that though. Nashville plays on quickly and the advantage is paid. The ball bounces down, well pursued there by Juice though for Magpies. manages to knock it backwards. There seems to be many players appealing to the umpire rather than playing the ball.
And the ball over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
It's always a good habit when playing football that to continue running until you hear the whistle, as New York gets a great punch out of the ruck there. But Duffy's got the front position, picks it up under some pressure, steps around one defender. Quick little kick under some significant pressure, didn't really go where he wanted it to. Ball's once again on the ground.
Person is bumped off the ball, gets hands out to McCrosty, who's immediately tackled. Mirosevic is in there, can't pick it up, gets pulled off it. Dives in again, gets the hands out to Duffy, gets a quick hand pass across to the running Mirosevic, who just keeps going and kicks the ball along. Gilbert's there on the lead out, gets a handball across towards the goal position. Mirosevic is there, and that's straight through the middle for a goal.
Fantastic effort there by the Nashville Kangaroos, slightly outnumbered by the Magpies defenders, and fierce effort there by the New York backmen, unsuccessful in stopping the combination of Gilbert and Mirosevic for getting that one through for a Nashville goal.
Indeed, some great talk out there, some great running from Mirosevic, who was in the initial contest with that ball about centre wing and kept running and throwing his body in, and that's what Aussie Rules is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams are doing that today. They are just continually running and throwing their bodies in at the ball.
And you'd have to suspect that the team that's the last one to continue doing that will win this encounter today. As Nashville Kangaroos making a quick exchange, we've got McCrosty for DeAndrea as the ball comes back towards the middle of the field once again.
So umpire Warner moves into the centre of the ground to throw the ball up. The big men waiting here. This one won clearly by Waller. Ball down towards Person, who stops and waits, but New York then wins the ball through the aid of number 26.
And the ball gets punched down towards the half-forward line and cleared through well there by Davis. He's got the leading man, but Carter manages to put some pressure on. Unable to be picked up by either team there. Ball's on the ground. And eventually comes out the back of the pack and picked up by New York once again is Davis there. Pops it down towards the forward line. Link eventually punching, looking towards the boundary line, but intercepted there
by Luminato. And the umpire said, no, you've tackled him too high and late. And Luminato picks himself up, but will take the free kick in the forward pocket for the New York Magpies.
Slightly undisciplined play there in the back line for the Kangaroos as Luminella looking down towards the goals, trying to assess his range, looking for his short options, looking for his centering options, floats the ball in towards the goal square. Davis is there, but he puts some hands on early, and umpire Warner has said that Nashville will have the free kick in the goal square.
Yes, indeed, an old forwards trick, giving a little shove in the back to get them under the ball, and unfortunately that time for Wilson didn't work as Huey puts it high towards Nelson, who's under pressure. It almost takes the mark though, despite the pressure. Gets pushed off the ball. On the ground now is Hayes, tapped out by DeAndrea. Nelson's there and swoops on it. Looking downfield, puts it in short, looking for Duffy. Mirosevic can't take the mark, but backs up quickly, picks it up, gets a handball off towards Gilbert, who leads out. The ball bounces unkindly. Quick hands by Person.
Jeff Person's fantastic hand pass under pressure there to the streaming Mirosevic, managing to get, would have to give him an assist on that one, wouldn't we, in your local terminology?
I think, yeah, Persons definitely gets the assist there. I stumbled over his name because it was just far too quick for an old fellow like me. But that's what footy's all about, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Mirosevic running rampant down through that half-forward line and rewarded with a great goal.
Yes, indeed. Nice delivery by Nelson and nice work by Mirosevic and Persons in getting the ball down there.
So at the 9-minute mark of the second quarter, Nashville lead 4 goals 4-28 to New York Magpies 4 goals 2-26. And that's going to stay this way for the next 2.5 quarters, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your heart can stand it because I don't know that mine can, Marcus.
Yes, well, we'll call a stretcher for you as umpire Warner once again steps into the centre of the ground, throws the ball up. Waller gets there first on this occasion, but New York's got the lead at it. Persons under some pressure, looks to get the ball, manages to get his hip into play. Fortunately, Nelson thinks he was taken down without it, eventually picked up off the ground by, eventually tied up in the pack. And the umpire will once again ball it up.
If I didn't know better, Marcus, I'd say this fast game has stepped up one tempo already as the big men fly. Waller wins that one down to Nelson, just slightly overruns it, picked up by New York, driven up towards the wing position in number 16 in McClellan, I think that was. Plays on quickly, puts it under the right boot, and Chad Huey floating across half back in front of number 20.
And he'll get 50 for that, hopefully. No, umpire said free kick from that point.
So Huey now with...
what are you saying? The commentary's biased.
Huey has a look down the field, looking for his options. Eventually pops it under the right and
this
goes
is
to
like
the long
this is like me watching the footy on a Friday night when I'm watching Port Power.
As the ball cleared out effectively by the Magpies defence towards the far boundary and may have gone out of bounds on the far side of the ground. Sorry, porta potty side of the ground.
And that will be a free kick to Nashville's captain, D. Bishadeshko. So, looking through his movements now, he puts it under the right boot, drives it long, it goes past everyone, looking for juices there. But he's tackled immediately by Person, scooped off the ground by the Magpies, put under the left boot up towards the centre half forward position, floating back as Tommy Wilson, plays on immediately, puts it under the right boot. Chucky pushes Carter under the ball, and takes a great mark, Calvold.
That was a contest there between Chucky and Carter on the back line.
Indeed, two of the best body players in the country today, Adam Carter and Eric Calvold. Eric, of course, known as Chucky. And Eric dead in front, about 30 yards out. Puts it under the right boot. Umpire
shouldn't make any mistakes with those ones. And it's gone right up the middle for a New York goal.
That's it, Pies! Come on, Pies! Another one!
New York move along to 5 goals to 32. Kangaroos 4 goals.
You've got to get passionate about your football,
6.5 minutes remaining in this second quarter. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, drinks are available out behind the bleachers here. And tonight's post-game function will be held at the Trace Restaurant on Belcourt Avenue, where you can mingle and mix with the players and a happy bunch of sportsmen, a happier bunch of sportsmen you will never find. As the goal umpire kicks the ball into the tree and wanders down the hill again.
I was curious as to what was going on there, but as the ball's being returned back to the middle of the ground would be the gracious expression for the goings-on down there. And there's a very good reason he's not playing this year, as the ball gets delivered back to the middle of the ground.
By umpire Craig Warner, trying his best to do a Royce Hart impersonation. Umpire
come on, Pies!
Throws the ball high in the air and the big men fly for this one. No one can win it. The ball comes to ground. Skirts out the back where Vishadeshka gets it. Tries to get his kick away under pressure. He does so. Mounts it there. Scoops it up. Quick hands across to Mirosevic.
Under some pressure. Puts it onto his right boot. Long looking for Gilbert in the goal square. Gilbert's got the front position and takes the mark there for Nashville. Tony Gilbert has been having a wonderful contest back there. And finally manages to find himself in front with a little bit to go, with 5 minutes to go here in this quarter. Tony Gilbert about 15 or 20 out at a slight angle.
Moves it and makes no mistake. Umpire Dave Shockley puts the 2 fingers up.
But I'll tell you what, umpire Shockley almost made a mistake there, tripping up on his flags, but eventually managing to make the correct signal. And once again, the ball will be returned to the centre of the ground. It's a 2-point game.
Doesn't get closer than this, Marcus. It swings and balances, ebbs and flows, ups and downs, ins and outs, rounds and abouts. This is a classic game of Australian rules football here at the home of footy in the south, Elmington Park, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, indeed. And now that my partner has waxed lyrical, I'll give you the information that the score is Nashville Kangaroos 5 goals 4-34, New York Magpies 5 goals 2-32.
Umpire Warner now back in the centre.
Come on, Pies, left!
The crowd starting to warm up to this. As the ball flies high as the big men do. No clear winner, but it comes out to Troy Mounts on the wing. Gets quick hands out to the running Duffy. Over to Mirosevic quickly. Under the right boot looking for Gilbert, but he can't take the mark as New York chips in front of him. Peter breaks through and picks it up. Hands off to Mirosevic. Ball comes to ground.
Great work.
Umpire says that's
Holding the ball.
Holding the ball.
Who was that? That was
A little bit
sensational
rough,
tackle.
but there again, the guy's got the whistle.
Well,
We
that's
don't,
why
so
it's
it's going
called
to be a free
Australian
kick
rules
to New
football.
York in the back line.
Yes, indeed. As the ball gets cleared out by New York Magpies, traditionally the call of holding the
got
ball
that
is
belly.
given away for a successful tackle, so I'd suggest that was a justifiable call.
Under the left boot into the centre of the ground. No one at home for New York, though. Passes to Andrea and Waller. Bounces
Come on, Lumi.
with Luminato. Luminato wins that one, gets bounced off it by DeAndrea. Ball in the pack there. Players diving in over it. Luminato trying to break clear. The umpire has blown the whistle. We will have a ball up at the half-forward position for the New York Magpies. And boy, these guys are fired up today, Marcus, as the big men fly high.
Yes, indeed. That one won by New York, busting down through the pack, but to no great advantage. Ball's on the ground once again with 2 minutes 50 to play here in the second quarter, and umpire Warner will take it once again. It's a 2-point game. Nashville's on top so far. 2 minutes 46 to play. Umpire Craig Warner has control in the Nashville half back line. That one may be just victory to Waller, but no clear advantage. Eventually cleared out. Mirosevic takes the mark and is allowed to back up and continue play by Malaki.
So
Mirosevic has a look down the field. He's got his options, but kicks it only as far as Patterson, the coach for the New York team, who quickly plays on, pops it on the right boot, looks towards the far wing.
Luminato's on his own. Got a panic to run in, plays on, puts it on the right boot, high and hard. Carter breaks through the pack, punches it away. They to Waller's advantage to Waller and Mansaris, playing a kick behind. Mansaris throws it out to Chucky. Chucky gets a boot on it. Carter's there though, puts it on the right boot, screws around the bounce though, who takes his time, picks it up, looks downfield, but only as far as Patterson.
Needs to have a slightly better look before he gets rid of those ones, as once again Patterson looks down the field. He's got some options. Wide, Mirosevic is in front and just manages to spoil the mark. Ball goes to ground. Eventually picked up by Allen, who's got some attention coming. Doesn't quite manage to get rid of it before the pressure's applied. Eventually cleared out by New York from the half back line. Floating kick towards the middle. The big men coming through the middle couldn't take it. Waller punches it back down towards the Nashville end, but only as far as coach for New York, who clears it back to the middle. Forwards and backwards game here today. No one able to get clear advantage. Eventually pumped back forwards again for Nashville, but I think this pattern's going to continue, and it's cleared again by New York to the middle of the ground. And DeAndrea and
Mansaris battle for it. No one can win it, and the umpire says that was over the shoulder, and it will be a free kick to number 9 there in Steve Pavlovic.
He plays on quickly. He's got some space over the wing, but Bissetka's there and gets the unfortunate bounce for the New York team. Ball gets pumped back towards the forward line, but once again New York's half back line doing a fantastic job at bottling things up.
And Tommy Thompson runs that one out of bounds.
I believe there's a call that it may have gone out of bounds on the full and the far boundary.
Waiting for the call from the umpires as the ball comes back, and it will be a free kick to Nashville Kangaroos captain D. Vishadeshka.
So he's looking for his options there. He's got short leads, he's got long leads. It looks like he's looking towards the middle, and ball's eventually tapped down. Nelson's at the back of the pack, couldn't pick it up cleanly. Ridden into the ground though, and I believe he's going to get the free for that. Or maybe not. Sorry, I thought I heard a whistle there for a second. Must be the tinnitus I'm suffering from at the moment.
It could well be, as umpire Rob Kelly moves into ball the ball up. Says I'm coming backwards, boys. Waller wins this one. No one can take the advantage of it though. Mansaris, as the siren sounds. What a classic half of football. Let's stand up and give these guys a fabulous round of applause.
Yes, indeed. Fantastic effort being put in by both teams here at half-time at Elmington Park. We've got the Nashville Kangaroos on 5 goals, 4-34, holding a narrow lead over the New York Magpies, 5 goals to 32. Fantastic clash here today, and some fantastic matchups around the ground. We've really enjoyed watching some of the bigger contests here today, most notably at full back and full forward at both ends of the field.
Indeed, Carter Kelvold and the Gilbert.
Great game, boys. Keep up the good work.
Hello Tokyo. Boys, just got to lift the endeavour 10% more.
We've got to play hard for the ball, guys. We've got to stop playing for the free kicks. We've got to go in after every ball.
Righty boys, let's just listen up. We're 2 points down, 4 points down, thing down there, leading hard and taking front position. Not necessarily marking everything because we have to defend right with them, but they're taking front position, giving us the option to bring it front and centre. But let's try and make sure we keep the runners coming forward. I know that it's hard with 14 side, but on ballers such as myself and Reese and a couple of others, Guy, let's try and push forward and try and get to that front and centre position. Sometimes the delivery hasn't been fantastic. Tommy, we've been kicking helicopters. You can't mark them, but it's going to come front and centre the way that both Toms play. The way that Chucky plays getting in front. And you know it's going to come front and centre. So let's try and make sure we're getting into that position to come forward. One little point. At times, we've just been putting one hand in. One hand's not good enough. One hand paddling it around is what you do when you're trying to play for free kicks. You can do that against the Philly, you can do that against the Western PA, and you look brilliant. You look $1 million. You start tapping at one hand here, you get the snot knocked out of you when you're sitting over the ball, and they'll run away with it. A couple of times when we're prepared to step across, hip and shoulder in the line of the ball, take the hit if we have to. They're going to push us in the back, or they're going to knock us over. But you're not going to come away with the footy. Going one hand like that, and gets knocked away, they run through it. And a couple of times down in the back line, typically we were outnumbered because they were running through hard. They ended up being able to push it forward. We were putting one hand in rather than getting down over and trying to pick it up. A couple of times coming out of the back half, we've had the opportunity to switch and we haven't taken it. Let's look to try and switch out of the back half when we do get that chance. All it takes is a quick look. No, it's not on. Let's go. If it's on, terrific. Go. Let's look to try and switch it around like that. Okay, now to how we're lining up. We're doing terrific job across half back. Push you up onto that wing now. So I've had that runner up on the wing there. Just want you to play normal wing roll. Just be accountable for that guy who's up on the wing. A couple of times with the knockouts, hasn't quite gone our way. It's kicked out to that side and they've had to play with playing down to the back line and they've had that up there. So we've just got to push you up there. Been extremely happy with what you're doing in half back line. I want you to keep doing the same thing, just push you up on board. So the back line's staying the same. Tommy T and Wayno both taking front position. Excellent. Keep taking front position. When you are caught behind, must punch, must punch, must punch. Be smart the way we bring it around across the boundary. There was one time when we looked to bring it into the middle too soon across half back. Opens the field right up for them. Then pushing it around the boundary, whichever way we've chosen, so we can then look to bring it into Tommy Wilson at centre half forward. Half back line. Now that we've got Juice up on the wing, it cuts that option out where it's been flicked out to the side. But that's what we must have something like this. The rucking around the ground, Adam, I thought was really good. So you push your contest well, so you communicated with Tommy Wilson pretty well. Let's make sure that we keep doing that and also hustle when you're on the ground. Just communicate with Tommy. Tommy's doing the rucking in the forward line, he'll be doing the rucking around the ground. That guy doesn't take a huge leap, but he's a solid body. So if you don't time your leap, or you don't jump up into it, you're probably going to be winning the tap. So he's a solid ruckman without being a great ruckman, but it means we must provide a contest for each one. What you're doing around the ground was excellent, bringing it to the front. I want to be looking to bring it over the back unless you definitely hear a voice and then put it in our midfield. Don't do that in the back line. Don't tap it over the back at all. There is that option. Something else you want to take up the forward line?
Race, but Gilbert's there also streaming through the middle. Tops it onto the right boot, long from the middle of the ground, but he's sprayed that one and it's gone out of bounds on the full. Tony Gilbert will be kicking himself there. But nice to see a little bit of flowing football coming from the Nashville Kangaroos through the middle of the ground.
Indeed it is, Marcus, and a couple of changes at half-time. Obviously, Gilbert being moved up the ground, Marosevic moved down. As the ball about to be brought back into play by the Magpies. Looking out wide towards Patterson. Illuminato flies high, Mounts is in front however. Pichadeshka gets tackled immediately. Diving in there as McCroskey breaks at one tackle, gets a hand pass off to Mounts, who's grabbed high but gets rid of the ball.
Ball pops out the back there where Illuminato is it who grabs the ball, was almost dispossessed but he's billed over the boundary line.
For a boundary throw in at the sponsors half-forward point.
That's a much better title than the last one you came up with. As the ball comes in, Waller wins that one, but no great advantage under the ball. Looks like, was that Lewis on the bottom?
Patterson, I believe, that might have been.
Patterson on the bottom. Coach Patterson for the New York Magpies,
leading from the front.
Go, Roo!
Umpire Kelly throws the ball up high and the big men fly. No clear winner. Tapped out towards Limonado, who gets it stolen by Vishadeshka, but stolen off him by Patterson. Up towards Limonado.
Team of thieves out there as Mounts looks for the hand pass, but eventually pops it on the left. Centering kick, looking for space. Foot race is on. New York is into the front position though, eventually picked up by Gilbert. Quick hands across, looking for Duffy, but socket off the ground by the New York team towards the boundary line. Fierce play under the ball. Allen's got front position, under some pressure, manages to get it onto his left foot, makes Nelson stand and wait for it though. Ball eventually spills out the back of the pack and picked up there by 15.
And Malaki, ball driven back towards the half forward line where Waller coolly, calmly floats back, grabs the mark and says, okay, let's see what we can do here. Waller moves in. Short kick there. Nelson moves in front of it.
Uncontested almost there. There was a little bit of contest coming against the flow of play, but Nelson will be pretty happy with that one overall. Pops it onto the right boot long, looking for a leading Mirosevic towards the pocket. Almost could have had a go with that one. Ball's punched down on the flank, trying to clear it out of defence there as the New York Magpie in.
Luminato drives it into the centre of the ground where number 9 for the New York Magpies takes a strong mark and covers it. Plays on quickly to Luminato. Luminato's off to the races, puts the boot to the ball though. Duffy's there, tries to take a one-hander, can't do so. Pavlovich is in there. Hayes has pulled off the ball. McCrosty picks it up, turns, he's under pressure, but gets his kick away in time to Nelson, who's about to get hammered. Gets hands off to no one's advantage. New York picks it up.
And eventually there's a free kick milked off the ball there by O'Flattery. Deserved it, asked the umpire for it, and received it.
So Nelson moves onto the mark and O'Flaherty hand passes across to Patterson. Patterson under the left boot, drives it hard and high. Carter and Kelvold. Carter wins this one easily though. Plays on immediately, swings it around his body down towards the wing position when Mounts and Desire in the race for the ball. Patterson's also there, comes off his boot and over the boundary line for a boundary throw in on the Nashville Kangaroos between the wing and half forward lines of the Nashville Kangaroos.
So the ball will get popped back into play. We've got the big men standing there in the ruck, slapped down by Waller, but only as far as Patterson for New York, who picks it up under some pressure, eventually gets it away to a high-flying kick towards the middle of the ground. Some floating pressure there is provided by Luminato, but the boundary line's going to meet them once again.
And the ball will be thrown in on the true centre wing position on Marcus Porta Potty wing.
That would be the sponsor's side as the ball comes in. Brinker couldn't quite get his hands on that one, eventually cleared out by once again Luminato, but gets taken down quickly by the Nashville defence. Chad Huey picks up the ball, pops it onto his right, but I think he's thrown that one off the side of his boot. It'll be a New York free kick.
Patterson plays on quickly, drives into the centre of the ground there, looking for number 15 in the person of Malaki. Malaki short, looking for Kelvold. Carter overruns the ball. Hayes is there, swings it high and hard around the body. And a huge, fabulous mark taken there by...
who was ruled to have played on and was then tackled and given holding the ball. Because he'd continued his forward motion towards the goal, the referee ruled that he had in fact played on and was then tackled successfully by Chad Huey for the Kangaroos.
Indeed, it was a great mark by Pavlik, used his body well. Huey now drives it out towards Rocco out there, and DeAndrea takes a strong mark in the halfback position. Turns on his right boot, looking for Nelson. Nelson pops under the ball and manages to elude the tackle. Picks it up eventually, screws it around the body, but it's smothered there. DeAndre is there to stop it, taps it back towards Nelson, who taps it between his legs, gets held, and the umpire blows the whistle and says,
Soft!
He hasn't got the ball.
Soft!
Of course, John made the umpire very aware that that was the case.
Absolutely so. He's seen the habits, manages to get it down to Gilbert, who turns around, has a look. Eventually, Mirosevic has got the lead.
Mirosevic has the space, and Mirosevic almost takes the mark, but New York put too much pressure on him. Mounts comes through, gets a handball off. Immediately tackled by McCrosty as the New York player. The ball pops out there for Luminato in the centre, but he goes without it. Dives in on it, so does Wishadeshka, the Nashville captain, and the ball is wrapped up on Nashville, just about between the centre of the ground and centre half forward position for the Nashville Kangaroos.
Fierce football here today, ladies and gentlemen. We're still scoreless in the second half. We've played 5 minutes of football as the ball goes down once again towards the Nashville half forward line. Picked up eventually by Gilbert, quick hands, but only as far as the New York defence. Pumps it out towards the wing position. In front there is New York, but Huey behind manages to get the hands of ball. Rocco puts the toe to the ball to try and get front position, eventually trying to pick it up. 15 comes flying through with no eyes to the ball, couldn't get cleared out. Eventually though, the referee has blown the whistle. A little bit of pushing and shoving there underneath the ball.
And a tight game, it's going to get tight and hard, and no one will spare any quarter as the ball goes up. Brinker wins this one over to McCrosty, puts it onto the left feet, a wonky kick down there to the forward line, can't see over the benches, the ball up on Talladega Hill.
Eventually picked up by New York, a duffy little kick, it's gone out on the full.
And tries to visit us here in the commentary booth, but picked up by that old jockey and football coach.
It's out on the full, so it'll be a Nashville free kick.
So, John DeAndrea.
So Rocco looks long, pops it onto the right boot, putting it out in front of the leading Gilbert, who couldn't quite hold onto it under some pressure there. Eventually tries to get a hand out as far as Waller. Waller hands out the back looking for Brinker, who needs to get it onto his boot nice and quickly. Tries to turn back to Vasetka, still under pressure. Short pass across to Mounts. Eventually they've drawn all the defenders to one side of the field, and he's got some space down the other side, where it's picked up by John Nelson. Swings around, puts it onto the right boot. Is it a sharp angle? What do we say?
It's touched.
3 for 1 behind only.
That's what we say, 1 point. But the first score for the quarter.
Indeed, at the 13-minute mark. We're 7 minutes into this quarter, ladies and gentlemen. 1 point has been scored. Does that tell you something about the intensity of these players out there?
Fantastic defensive play on both sides of the ball. Lots of pressure. You would have to think that the team that relinquishes that pressure first will lose here today. So the ball's going to be pumped back in once again by the New York fullback. Nashville's set up in their familiar zone. Ball's lobbed down on the contest. Mounts behind. Looks like he managed to grab it. But Pavlovich, great mark, takes it from him. Plays on quickly, steps around Nelson, pops it on the right feet towards the middle of the ground. The Setka's in front, couldn't hold onto it, but picks it up and trickles the ball back towards DeAndrea, who looks for the hands off, couldn't find them. Eventually pops it on the right. He's got Gilbert in space. Tony Gilbert, nice mark. About 45 or 50 out, right in front.
Barassi making the lead and going back. Gilbert trusting himself in this. Puts it high.
There's a go. Looks pretty good from here.
It's touched the post.
Being just a little bit short. We can't really see the action. Eventually picked up by Nelson.
It hit the post, absolutely.
Gets thrown off the ball, and it's eventually rushed through from behind. Unfortunately, our vision's been obscured here partially, so we couldn't quite catch the rest of that play, but resulting in 1 behind for Nashville. And once again, the New York players will kick the ball back in.
I worked with some of those guys. Yeah, right.
The lead's coming now from New York fullback as he moves in to kick the ball, chooses to go out to the far halfback flank. Mounts is there and judges it best of all the high flyers. A great mount by the
little man. Fantastic mount there by Mounts. And great pass to Mirosevic. Strong goal under some pressure there at full forward. He's at a sharp angle, but Mirosevic is going to have a go at this one. This is what he does for a living.
Well, actually, he's a postgraduate student at Vanderbilt University studying biological diseases of the mind. But when he's not doing that, ladies and gentlemen, he kicks goals.
He's not interested in any biological diseases of the mind at this stage as he lines it up from the flank, pops it on. I think he may have pushed that one across the face, and the ball's still in play. Tidwell hand pass off towards Nelson. Foolish play, should have put it onto his boot.
And 3 for 1 behind again to the Nashville Kangaroos. So Nashville Kangaroos keeping it in there, trying to get that elusive goal. They move on to 5 goals, 7-37, just 5 points ahead of the New York Magpies. 5 goals, 2-32 as New York moved to bring the ball back into play now.
So once again, he's looking long. He's pumped it long and high. Gilbert's there, Allen's there. Couldn't quite take the mark. Oh, well taken. Pavlovich, strong mark in the middle of the field.
Field baseball catch a crowd. No one contests that mark. There's number 6 for the Magpies, plays on quickly. And the umpires call play on, but there was no advantage to it. So Tommy Hayes will have to, Tom Wilson, I'm sorry. That Hayes will have to
umpire's calling the mark back. He's given 25. I think, I don't know what exactly was transpired there.
Dirty play by Nashville right there.
I think he was signaling the Nashville player back, but he didn't come back. So Wilson puts boot to ball
Puts it
and
through,
makes no mistake.
and that's the Pies in
Hand
front.
goes up, as
You
do the
little
Nolan
ripper.
Pies.
So Tommy Wilson pops it straight through the middle. First goal of this third quarter comes more than halfway through the quarter, taking the New York team to a 1-point lead. 6 goals, 238 to Nashville, 5 goals, 737.
Indeed, some strong hard play being thrown in there, and umpire explained to Chad that he had been saying to come back.
Absolute filthy play by the Nashville players there. And it's that goal there.
Hear it, so the
Strong
ball
work
will be
by
back in the
Kalila.
centre of the ground with a
And
1-point lead
Tommy
for the
Wilson.
New York Magpies. And did I say earlier on this was going to be a clash for the ages, Marcus?
I believe that this was going to be a clash for the ages, and I believe you're right. As the ball comes back towards the middle of the ground once again, 8 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Evans got
New
it
York
again.
eventually managing to get that ball, but
guy's
Waller
got it.
for Nashville clears it out of the middle, pops it down looking for Nelson, who has front position, eventually picks it up, turns around, pops it onto the right boot with the centering kick. Gilbert's at the back.
Come on, Juicer.
The ball gets that far, swings
Take it
around,
out,
throws
take
it onto the left. Mirosevic is in front. Can't quite
Mirosevic
take
is
it,
quite
but
a
he's
good
got a little
player.
bit of time to stop and go back and pick it up and stop and go back
That's
again.
probably a goal.
And then kicks it through. Johnny Mirosevic, Nashville Kangaroos, star full forward of the year, is doing a wonderful job down there today. After a brief little stutter step, stops, gets the ball and kicks a fantastic goal for Nashville.
So that's Mirosevic's third of the game as the Nashville Kangaroos move on to 6 goals, 743 to the New York Magpies, 6 goals, 238. But let's remind the paying public here that there is plenty of merchandise available for you all to go away with a token of one of the greatest games of Aussie rules you will ever see up here. Come and see Gus Gillette, get your Barassi Cup t-shirt. Gus Gillette, the one-legged man behind the booth here with the strange hat and the funny habits.
Yes, indeed. And have a look at the Barassi Cup.
Come on, Pies!
We'll be taking that away at the end of today. As a quick change from Nashville to the far wing. I think he's gone outside the square, but the umpire said otherwise. Lance Fraser, the player being substituted for the Kangaroos, ran through the square, making too many Nashville players in the middle of the ground. Funny looking hand pass there for New York. Eventually gets a better one off to the wing, pops it down on his right boot. Huey's in front. Couldn't quite take the mark though, under some significant pressure.
Which is describing the movement of the
So a Nashville free kick to Dave Temple, the little Nashville Kangaroos rover in his first season, puts it under his left foot, looking for Mounts. Mounts under pressure from Desai, but Desai pushes him in the back and Mounts will take the free kick on the centre wing position on the far side.
Ball's delivered back to Mounts, who has a look down the field. He's got some options. Eventually goes short. He's got Nelson in front, but intervening Chicago player there punches it to the ground. And once again, the ball is being buffed along the ground. Although there's been ruled a throw, and Nashville will take the free kick.
Jeez, I don't know about that one.
By Troy Mounts in the true centre wing position of the Arlington Park here. Mounts puts his right boot on the ball, looking for Gilbert in front of the pack. Punched away there by New York out to the running number 16 in...
Petrovsky, isn't it? As the ball comes back towards the middle of the field and eventually scooped upon by Tidwell with some nice protection off the ball by Lance Fraser. An injured John Nelson coming from the field for the Nashville Kangaroos as the ball goes over the boundary line on the far side just in front of the sponsors' banners for the Kangaroos. Bit of a blow to Nashville here if Nelson has himself an injury.
It looks like a little bit of an ankle that Johnny's trying to work out, and I tell you, unless the bones are grinding together, Nelson will not leave the game. So the ball comes up, and this one won by New York, driven hard into attack, where Wilson and Huey fight for it. Wilson, however, wins that clash. This has been a clash today.
Yes, indeed, the ball eventually pops over towards the Nashville Kangaroos bench. New York player has the
in the back. That's in the back.
John Brinker, picked up though by coach for the New York Magpies. Pops it onto his right boot. May have slightly pushed it across the face. Contest in front of the point line, and the ball goes over for a one behind. Nice run there by Patterson. He'll be a little bit disappointed with the accuracy though. Boys in the goal square unable to snaffle the mark.
New York moving along to 6 goals, 339, trailing the Nashville Kangaroos by a mere 4 points, 6-7-43.
Booming kicking by Carter down towards
the half-back flank, but only as far as that number 16 who's played a fabulous game in Reece Stevens, played a great game in the reserves too.
Well, that's good. I was hoping it wasn't
Stevens puts his right boot on the ball in towards the centre of the ground and leading an easy, safe chest mark there by number 19.
Yes, great mark there, and he'll back up and look towards the goal.
This is Hayes, Tommy Hayes, already kicked 2-3 for the game, lining up straight out, straight in front.
Tommy Hayes again for his fourth.
The umpire has signalled an off-the-ball free kick. Not entirely sure what for. So there will be a 25-metre penalty, and Hayes will absolutely make certain of this one.
All right, Tommy Hayes is having a great day. He's having a field day.
Some unsportsmanlike conduct, I believe, from what I can gather. And Hayes will now have another shot from about 5 yards out, directly in front.
Tommy Hayes, lethal weapon!
I think this is his fourth for the day. If he can put it through the middle, which he should from here. And I believe that means he'll be wearing a pink skirt out this evening if he gets 2 more.
So that's Hayes' fourth, and moves New York along
Tommy
to
Hayes.
7 goals, 3, 45.
Tommy Hayes,
2 points
what
in
a
front of
champion.
Nashville, 6 goals, 7,
Tell you what.
3, with 3.5 minutes left in this
He's come from nowhere.
quarter, the championship quarter of Australian rules football.
Yes, indeed. And if anyone owns that maroon truck on the other side of the ground, that alarm is going off, looks like an F-150 from here. Try to go and turn the alarm off, it's annoying.
That's off.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Ask and you shall
Throw the ball
receive.
back in the centre of the ground. Players tired and hard, but they're not going to give up now. The big men ready to go in, Mansaris and Waller. Mansaris wins this one. Lemonada's down front, stops it, picks it up, quick hands off number 2 there. Drops it onto his left boot.
Oh, great grab.
He takes another
Tommy Hayes.
keep in the forward pocket.
Yes, indeed.
You're the man.
Absolute perler out there. Looks like he may be slightly outbodying his man by length there. The umpire indicates the mark, and Hayes will have a go, shooting for his 5th here today.
Kick it, Tommy. Come on, Tommy.
So Hayes looks
practiced
to
this
pull
one.
up the socks, has a look around, checks the wind, throws some grass up in the air, pops it onto his right boot. And it looks like that one's just gone through. The goal umpire says yes.
Oh, you little ripper.
goal
Tommy
to
Hayes.
Hayes.
Woo!
He's the hero.
I taught him everything he knows, I'll just let you know.
Goals 3, 51 from Nashville.
Oh, he's a better learner than I am.
43 with 2.2 minutes left in this half.
Yes, indeed. 2 minutes to go with the close and tight.
Come on, Pies, let's get another!
Close to the first time all day that there's been a little over a goal of lead.
This is what it's like when you sit at the MCG and watch a game.
So 2 minutes to go here
People cheer for the
in the
opposing
third
team.
quarter.
Umpire
I get
coming
a
out
feeling
for the
Nashville
ball.
hasn't
New York
had
fired up
too
with
many
that
people
goal.
yelling out
That
against
tap
them
down,
this
however.
time.
Gilbert's there,
I mean,
can't pick it up.
is that right,
Out to
or?
Fraser, who can't.
First game I've ever been to.
Players
I'm
throwing
still
their
trying to
bodies
get
on the
over
line.
how it all works.
As the ball goes
Okay,
to
well,
the far
you know, if
side
you
of the
need
end,
any help,
manages
I'm
to
here to
get it,
help.
but only as far as the New York
If you don't
Magpie
understand something, I'll
pops it
explain
long
it for
towards
you.
the middle of the ground, front
much got
position
it. I
there
mean,
for New
they
York,
say
though
it's
Fraser
not-
hasn't
they
quite
say
got the
it's
legs to
not
catch him
complex,
as he
It's not
steps
that
around the
complex.
defender, pops it onto his right boot, but puts it out of bounds on the full.
Just got to go
Or is
through
it
there or through
3
there.
for 1 behind?
And you can't hit,
Behind, extending
to tackle people above here
to 9 points.
or below
If
there.
you catch the ball cleanly, you
A
got
minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Carter for the
I
Kangaroos.
find football, American
Got the
football.
ball in the
They've made
full-back
too many rules
position,
up
looking
within
for some
American
options.
football, haven't they? I love American
Carter
football,
moves
mind
out,
you.
drives it hard and
I won-
wide.
Huey's in the middle of the ground.
watched the
manages
Giants
to get some
Niners game the
attention
other
on the
night.
ball from Patterson.
I
Couldn't
watched
quite
the
take the
Giants
mark. Ball
Niners
goes
game
to
there. I went
ground.
there and
I
saw
think
it.
the umpire's going to take that one.
I wasn't as
No,
good as
eventually it
I
comes
was.
out the far side.
Divided up.
Fraser's got it, manages to put it onto his boot. He's got Gilbert
Where are
in the
we?
contest down the ground. Couldn't quite take it. Eventually puts the hands off over the shoulder to
Troy
Mounts.
Mounts, who puts it over the right boot. Mirosevic fighting there, but held off the ball by the New York Magpies. Vishadeshka roves the pack. Price
Oh, great.
So the umpire says no.
Didn't get rid of it.
Never get rid of it in time.
Free kick New York. He held on to it too long.
As Nashville
supposed to
drop
punch
back
it, he
and man
decided
up.
to
The free
take the
kick
man
will
on.
be taken there by number 12 for the Magpies.
Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx.
Farrell pops it long.
It's basically desert up there. It's terrible.
Players
But
collide in the middle of the field. Eventually
not-
picked up by once again Kalula. Hand pass out.
Belly.
Eventually popped down the forward flank. Chewy's got the lead position. Boundary line might beat them both, but Chewy manages to keep it in. Short hands off to Waller. Hand pass back to Duffy. Puts it under the left.
Oh, it's out on the
Kick
full,
down
no?
towards the contest but with John Brinker there.
So what is it
Can't
if
quite pick
somebody
it up
holds on to
cleanly.
the ball
Could
too
have socked it
long?
off the ground. Eventually goes to
Yeah, if they
ground
get
on the ball.
tackled,
No one's
and
taking
hold
it
on
out
to the
cleanly
ball
though.
too
An
long,
umpire
then
Kelly
that's-
says I'll have that.
Yeah, that's right. You're supposed to try and get rid of the ball. Or
As
if
the
you run
siren
too far
sounds
without
to end the
bouncing,
third quarter
then
of
that's also
absolute
free.
utter fabulous
Okay, how far
football.
can you run?
The New York
15 yards.
Magpies, 8 goals, 4, 52. The Nashville Kangaroos, 6 goals, 7, 42. Let's stand up and give these guys a...
As umpire Kelly has the ball in the middle of the ground. Looks like he's ready to go. The siren is out of puff, so as the ruck goes up, that one won by New York, but eventually Duffy looks like he's in the lead position but couldn't quite pick it up clearly. Hand pass to the ground, eventually swooped upon by McCroskey, fumbles it once and manages to get a hand pass away under pressure, falls on the ground, eventually socket off the ground by the New York player, and I think it hit the ground just inside the field of play and will be thrown in.
That's what happens when you have a wall.
The half-forward line for the New York Magpies. Ball goes high.
Couldn't get away with that
underneath the ball. Brinker wins that one, taps it down. Duffy couldn't pick it up. Eventually Visetka tries to pick it up and manages to get a ball onto his right boot, but only as far as the New York coach and Patterson. Hand pass away while still in the tackle to the open player in 15.
Malaki's kick goes forward. Kicked off the ground there by number 17, but that was in danger.
Oh, come on, that was not.
A free kick to the Nashville Kangaroos. You can't kick the ball off the ground if someone's got their head over it, ladies and gentlemen. That's called kicking in danger.
His head wasn't down there, but anyway.
Free kick. Tries it
Then again, I'm probably biased.
Oh,
Juice, you're the man!
And races away. Met solidly by Allen as he kicks the ball. The ball up into the forward pocket where no one can pick it up. Carter's there. Calvold's there. The ball up Talladega Hill. Luminato gets it and is pulled under the ground by...
Over the shoulder, that's too...
Looks like Luminato pulled it in on the ground there, but the umpire said no. He's been locked up.
Don't worry about the over the shoulder. These guys are a little bit biased, but they're not doing too bad.
Throw the ball up on the half-forward line for the New York Magpies. One there by the New York player, but Chad Huey plucks it out of the air and pops it on the right boot. Long and high, looking for Gilbert. Couldn't quite get the front position or the mark. Taken away by again by Malaki.
Drives it into Pavlovic, who takes an easy, uncontested mark about 45 metres out.
Make a lead.
Drops it in short to the running number 6 there, who's immediately under pressure by Mounts. Pulls him off the ball, picks it up. Mounts having a blinder of a game. Over to McCroskey, puts it onto the right boot up towards Nelson, who's double teamed. Nelson almost takes the mark. DeAndre's there, pulled off the ball. No one can pick it up. It falls to ground. Patterson is in there, I think.
At the bottom of the pack there, lots of fierce activity. Eventually hand passed out by the New York players to no one's great advantage. Swooped upon by Coach Patterson for the Kangaroos, but he was taken high as he got rid of that ball.
Excellent.
And it'll be a free kick to James Patterson, the coach of the New York Magpies.
As the Nashville Kangaroos drop back and man up, the coach for the New York team pops it onto his boot. He's got a leading player in front of Huey. Couldn't take the mark. Managed to pick up the scraps eventually and quick hands off, where the ball gets delivered back in towards the half-forward line, but Bo Ling for Nashville manages to get front position, manages to get rid of it just in time, taken out at the knees after he delivered the ball. Tony Gilbert looks like he's pulled up with a hammy though halfway through that play.
Mothered by Waller, picked up by Mansaris. Mansaris plays on, puts it on the right boot. Looking for Calvold, but Carter breaks through it, breaks through the tackle of Luminato, drives it hard and high in towards Duffy, who takes a great mark under pressure.
Fantastic play there by Carter, just to calm his team down just a little bit, interrupt the flow of play as Duffy looks long, puts it right on his boot. He's got Persons there who takes a strong mark in the pocket. Persons will back up and have a look.
Come on, there's a
The mark's been called back. He's gone to short pass though with Mirosevic leading. Couldn't quite take it though. Great defense by the New York fullback. Eventually ball comes out towards the half-forward line. Foot race is won by the New York player. Malaki once again puts it onto his right boot. But Huey's there for Nashville. In the centre of the ground, standing firm and under some pressure.
Nice, Tommy Wilson, that's accountable for
Huey backs up, has a look down the ground for his option.
He's off. Yes, hold him down. Oh, yes, that's ball. You little ripper. See, he got a free mark, but he started running with it. And so they said play on, and then he just got caught holding the ball. Oh, Jono! Great grab! Oh, it's grab of the century. Mark of the century. How many touches were there? Oh, come on, guys, let's be disciplined.
Pavlovic under pressure from across, who puts it under his right boot, sets sail for home.
Is it a goal? It's a goal! Oh, you little rude beauty! Woo!
Managing to get a little momentum.
Let's go, Pies!
New York team. With 15 and a half minutes yet to play in the fourth quarter. That takes them out to a 15-point lead. Largest margin we've had here today, Shane Clossy.
Indeed it is, and the Nashville Kangaroos are about to
see, the thing is, people have been trash talking the New York Magpies on their website, saying how we're not as good as the record shows. We're playing weak teams in our league. So it's quite an important game for us to prove that we really are a decent side after all.
Yes, indeed. Looking for a little bit more voice out there on the field from the Nashville Kangaroos. Free kick to Waller.
Oh yeah, no, they won the middle. They won the
mid-east
ball goes over the top.
Grand Final, Nelson's got the front position. Can't quite get the lucky bounce. Has to stop and pick it up. Eventually hooks around, throws it onto the right boot, looking towards the goal square. Persons couldn't get himself in front.
Oh no!
Persons runs through and kicks a goal. Mirosevic does a fantastic job under the ball. Couldn't get position, but Persons sweeps through. John Nelson, great snap to the top of the goal square, over his shoulder and under some pressure there. Nashville clawing their way back. Fantastic effort there by the Roo boys. Brings them back within 9.
Every Monday and says, yeah, we beat him 100.
The crowd gets vocal here at Albion Park. Something we love about the Albion Park crowd is their voice.
Yes, indeed, just under 15 minutes to go. Nashville Kangaroos looking for a lot of talk on the field, looking for a lot of talk off the field. Let's get behind your Nashville Kangaroos, Albion Park.
Pretty good shape.
So the ball comes back in the center. That was a great job at roving by Jeff Person.
Definitely. Well, your guys are in good shape too, and I think that is the difference. Because a couple of guys like me out there can be the missing link.
Throw the ball up in the center of the ground. He does so. The big men fly. Waller wins this one. Desai is there. The great tackle. Get up! McCroskey tries to steal it. Waller kicks it back over his head. It's high. It's not 10 yards. It's going to be play on. Persons there. Gets hand pumped.
Managed to get the quick hands away. Fantastic effort there, but swept on by Malaki once again for New York. Pumps it over his shoulder. Looking for space. He's got...
Leonardo drives it into the centre half forward position. Punched away there by Allen. Waller's there. Puts it onto the right foot. Drives it hard, high and long. Nelson's there underneath. Chest mark about 40 metres out. Fantastic effort there at holding off the player and then fading back to take that mark. He's got a couple of short leads, but he backs himself and pops it long onto the right boot. No one's touched it. It's gone through for a goal. John Nelson, fantastic effort. Johnny Mirosevic defending the players off the ball, and it's gone through for a goal for the Nashville Kangaroos, bringing them within 3 points with 13 minutes to play.
Jeez.
Indeed, Martin. I think we said at the start, this is going to go down to the wire.
I think I got a little excited there just for a moment. 13 minutes left to play. Nashville Kangaroos claw their way back within 3. Inspirational play by John Nelson. Great forethought by Johnny Mirosevic. And good work through the middle by the entire midline for the Nashville Kangaroos. Contest is fierce here. Mark Waller wins that one as far as Persons. Manages to get their hands away. Waller's back onto the ground. Can't pick it up cleanly. Ball's been locked up in the bottom of the pack though. And the umpire will take that one.
And ball that one up just left of centre. By G is the intensity in this game picked up. This is finals footy, ladies and gentlemen. The Meeple champions and the Maffle champions. This one won by New York. Vishadeshka's there, goes without it though. He's there, he picks it up. Gets quick hands off to Mount. Quick hands away again to McCroskey. Clever by Mount. He's pushed off it by Patterson. He's playing a great game in defence for the Magpies. The ball gets locked up there. Mounts is in there again. And the umpire will say, that's my ball, fellas.
Rock and roll.
Yes, indeed. It's very educative to look at the bottom of that pack and you see 3 players from each team fighting fiercely on the bottom of the pack. Ball goes up. Waller wins that one. Rocco can't handle it. Persons can't pick it up. Eventually ball spins to ground on the far side. And Persons once again at the bottom of the pack trying to punch it out. 16 for New York. Couldn't quite pick it up. Again, Vasetka finally breaks free. Puts it onto the right boot down towards the forward flank. But I think the boundary line's going to beat Mirosevic.
And it's out of bounds in Nashville's forward pocket. Deep in attack to the Nashville Kangaroos.
Yes, indeed. 11 minutes 40 on the clock here in the 4th quarter. 3
Mostly
points.
there is, but there doesn't seem to be one today. I think everyone's just
Nashville Kangaroos attacking zone is where the ball is. And the ball gets thrown in, eventually under the ruck. McCroskey plucks it out, goes quick hands to the ground because he didn't have an option. Eventually picked up by the New York defenders though and pumped out towards the half centre wing position. Great diving mark. Is that Chad?
That hit the ground first. That hit the ground first. Oh, gee.
We got it on film.
Yeah, absolutely. Instant replay.
He's going to have to go long.
Video replay.
Long looking for the contest.
Nail it.
Couldn't quite take it though. Pulled off by the experience of Coach Patterson for the New York Magpies. Swooping behind and picking up goes the quick hands off to the side.
Corral now puts it under the right boot out towards the wing. Mazaris can't get down there. Corral again chasing up. What great running by Corral. Tackled his number 6 in Peter McKenna.
Oh, I played in the first game.
Pass across there to Tommy Hay, Tommy Wilson, I should say. Down to
but that was just like Boston was supposed to come along today too.
Boston?
Yeah. to play. We're going to play them twice, and yeah, a round robin, absolutely. But unfortunately, Boston weak and pulled out.
I believe he's going to take the kick.
The umpire just checking there with the field umpire.
No, so we're just going to play one game still, but because we brought extra players like me along,
and it is a national kick.
who could substitute. You know,
half
if you're playing two full games, it's pretty tough. So.
Looking long towards the middle of the ground.
Would be really rough.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Eventually does, pumps it high and long towards the middle of the ground. New York dominates the pack under the ball, but no one can take it cleanly. Picked up by Rocco, short pass to Nelson. Has a look down, he's got Mirosevic on the lead, he's on 2-on-1, Mirosevic eventually comes out with it, but runs into his own player unfortunately. Eventually the ball's punched off the ground. Nashville's been penalised for holding the ball though, unfortunately there for Johnny Mirosevic. He did have possession and placed the ball on the ground.
Corral now kicks it out towards the centre wing position, picked up there by New York. Quick hand pass across, Mounts is there again for Nashville under pressure. Tries to get a hand pass off, goes to Duffy, fakes one, puts it onto the right.
Oh, Malax is everywhere.
Hard and high, but no one's home except James Patterson. Plays on quickly to Patterson, he's tackled, but breaks that tackle.
They can't be holding the ball, he got it out.
Picks it up once again, and Coach
Because he got out.
He got it out. Centre wing.
Can't be holding the ball if he gets it out.
And Luminato is there, tried to play on. He's got to go back behind his mark though.
Luminato should be penalised there for continuing forward movement. But no, instead the umpire has said, have another chance, son. Luminato continuing his forward movement in the tackle.
Drives it in, and Chris Duffy there, safe in defence for Nashville, takes a strong mark. Quick hands off now to the running Mounts. Mounts picks it up on the first bounce, puts it onto his right feet, looking for Nelson in front. Punched away by Patterson towards the boundary line. The ball sits though up on the hill, picked up by New York, runs back into the centre of the ground, drives it up towards the centre wing position, and
Tommy Wilson
there. Quick hands off to number 16.
Oh no!
Only as far as his hands come off the Ben McCroskey, who runs on, puts a short pass in, looking for Rocco DeAndrea. The number 26 there for New York leads the chase for the ball, runs it towards the boundary line. DeAndrea hustles him off it. Back again to McCroskey. McCroskey breaks one tackle, gets rid of the footy, picks it up again, puts it onto the boot.
Mirosevic can't pick it up, but eventually it's flicked out of defence by the New York Magpies, who pop it clear to the man in space, pops it onto his right boot down towards the wing, needing some pressure through the middle of the ground, and Chad Huey says, I can do that. Quick hands off again, so there's Luminato under the pack, or is that...
Too high! Too high, umpire!
Get rid of it, eventually comes out.
Thank
but
you.
It's going to be a New York free kick.
Well, you're not supposed to tackle the head.
Well, yeah.
Driving it in towards Calvold, but playing back into the pack is looks like Wilson. Wilson now looking for some...
Well, you've got to have a few since there's not all that equipment.
Calvold trying to work Carter under it. Carter punches it away towards the boundary line. That'll be a boundary throw-in with 7.5 minutes left to play. The Nashville Kangaroos 8 goals, 7.55. The New York Magpies.
Come on, boys! Not long! Come on, boys!
Cracker Jack swings to mine mark.
Yes, indeed. 3 points in it and a throw-in the back pocket for the Nashville Kangaroos. Both teams screaming to get some players back there, but everyone's moving slow with 7 minutes on the clock and a 3-point lead to the New York Magpies. The ball gets thrown back into ground.
What kind of throw was that?
No one could take that under the ruck. Eventually picked up though by number 2 for New York. Ball's on the ground once again and over the boundary line.
For a boundary throw-in on New York's half.
That was the worst throw-in I think I've seen in my life.
Yeah, has the ball, throws it back.
Oh, there we go. There's a decent one.
Big men fly. No one can clearly win that. Comes to Huey. Hands to New York across the boundary line one more time under pressure from Vishadeshka, and a boundary throw-in a little bit further up.
So once again the players get themselves in position, try and man up across the half forward and half back line. The ball comes popping in. New York wins that one nice and clean down in front, but McCroskey's the only one in home. Goes across the face of goal unusually, and ball bounces towards the middle of the field where Patterson's closing in fast. Eventually picked up though by the New York player who couldn't quite get rid of it in time. Allen comes off the back. Short pass. Didn't go 10. Yes, it did.
And
Malaki picks it up. So Malaki's going to back up and have a look at this one.
Like to buy land off for you, you idiot!
From about 73 out.
Now we got the good old Aussie cat calls coming out there. You got to love a bit of that one.
Someone cry comes in. Malaki now banks himself from this distance, puts it hard, high.
Tommy Wilson, where is he?
Goal square. Carter flies high, can't take the mark.
Come on, let's get one off the ground here, boys. I can't see
Eventually, some struggling in the goal square. Ball pops out into the pocket. Vasek is the first one there. And the ball beats him to the boundary line. And will be delivered in once again. Some tired bodies back there, but the ball's about to come into play once again, so they need to get themselves sorted and into position as umpire James takes control and pops the ball over his shoulder. Waller seems to win that one in front to Vasetka, whose kick is smothered off the tip of his boot. Can't quite pick it up, eventually taps it down towards Chris Duffy, and once again the boundary line claims it.
And it'll be a boundary throw in at the half-forward flank for the New York Magpies. 3 points separating these teams.
With less than 5 minutes to go, quick hands across the top to Bo Link. Manages to find some length out of defence. The crowd comes alive. Ball's bounced up. Nelson gets one fingertip on it. Backs up. Quick hands to Rocco. Ball spills 3 persons. Is in front. Manages to get it. Hands in front to Mirosevic, but he's got doubled up back there. And the ball will be cleared out by the New York defence, poking it towards the boundary line and slowing things down. 4.5 minutes to play.
On the full as Nashville's John Nelson takes the free kick.
Yeah, we're 3 points up. Magpies 3 points up.
4.5 minutes to play. 3 points the difference.
They're 3 up.
So John Rocco DeAndre.
It's only 3 points, so goal will make
Magpies dropping back into a huge zone in defence there. Looks like there's about 17 of them in the back half-back flank. As the ball once again gets tipped over towards the far corner pocket.
And out of bounds for a boundary throw-in on the Nashville Kangaroos forward pocket.
Looks like we've got about 8-on-1 on Mirosevic down there towards the goal square.
What's that?
It has, with Gilbert having done a hamstring. Nashville Kangaroos forward line under pressure. Brinker pulled out of it. The ball comes to ground. No one can win it. Nashville,
eventually thrown out by the New York team, and that may even be in scoring position. The umpire is going to mark the spot, bring him around to the appropriate angle. John Nelson's going to take the kick.
Former coach John Nelson.
He's popped it. Is it straight?
He's gone wide.
Umpire says no, it's not.
Oh, it's wide.
1 point to the Nashville Kangaroos. 2 points the difference.
This is the way it should be played. Oh man, yeah.
The umpire waves the flag and New York doesn't need to change to bring Luminato.
Nice work, Reese.
Okay. Looks like Corelli now has got the ball. Got Luminato leading on the wing, but Mounts is there with him. The ball high. No one can win it. It comes
He's all over Luminato.
Tapped over his head.
I don't seem to mind that.
Duffy picks it up, handball towards the forward line further. But it bounces over the boundary line and out of bounds.
So with 2 minutes 50 on the clock. 2 points difference in the game.
You have to make an attempt. You've probably got like 3 or 4 seconds.
The referee moves both players back off the line, asking him to move 2 yards back from the field of play.
15 yards. 15 yards. But then you can bounce.
Give the boundary umpire space to operate. Ball's popped in, won by the Chicago team, but to no great advantage on the ground. That would be New York, you're correct. Swings around.
Out of bounds on the full.
And out of bounds on the full with 2 minutes 19 seconds left to play. A free kick to the New York Magpies.
We've got 2 minutes to play. I think we've got 3 minutes left on this camera, so we're about
This is indeed one of the best games of footy ever to be seen here. As Mirosevic throws the ball back to the New York players.
Normally it does, but the rules over here are that it doesn't, because it just gets too difficult, I think, to do.
The ball's lobbed in towards the contest, but Brinker manages to get a hand on it. Vaseka's at the bottom of the pack.
Come on, let's get a run up the field, run up the side.
Picked up by New York eventually and cleared though.
Let's go, Tommy Wilson.
Down towards the contest between Chewy and Wilson.
Chewy knocks the ball away and again doubles up to put the tackle on.
Hey, Kango!
Immediately tackled, tries to get rid of the ball, but the umpire...
Yes, that's ball!
Get rid of it. That's a free kick.
Ruse. It's all Ruse. Kangas, you can call them Kangas.
New York Magpies.
Yes, and there's been some harsh criticism by Kelly from behind.
Why not too, eh?
Position. Fortunately, we don't know who those people are as the ball goes to ground once again. And
Tommy Wilson in there. He needs one more goal to make me wear a dress tonight.
Get it out. Hand pass down towards the forward line by New York. Carter's got the lead coming out, bobbles it up in front of him. Eventually, almost
hold it in, hold it in. Matty B, nice.
Throw on it though. And the ball's locked up on the ground.
with 1 minute left to play. 3 points, 2 points in this game. The ball on New York.
There can't be long to play. I think there's like 30 seconds to play.
Really?
Well, it was 2 minutes a little while ago.
The big men fly.
Let's keep it in, boys. Let's keep it in, boys. Push it over. That's it, Pabba.
No, it doesn't. Falls to Troy Mounts, gets hands.
Oh, jeez, I don't know about this. Sit on it, someone. Sit on it.
Picked up by New York.
Come on!
You got it!
Needing to move quickly here to the Kangaroos. The ball's in the half-back line.
It's got to be time. It's coming up to time.
Because the clock's ticking.
Loomy.
And it's so far it's New York. Pops it up towards the goal square and Carter.
Played on.
Carter's got 20 seconds on the clock. He pops it
20 seconds. I don't know how the 20 seconds came on.
Has a look down the field. Puts it onto his right foot. Needs a lead. Goes long towards the goal square. Mirosevic is standing for it.
Yeah! You can do it!
Pass off towards the half-forward line. Picked up those.
There's got to be time. It's got to be time. Hey, that's got to be time. Yes! 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 And the Pies come streaming onto the field.
2 points.
Good game.
In one of the greatest games of Aussie rules.
Skills, mate. Skills.
See, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for both teams.
Outstanding.
What a fantastic display of football you've had here for you today. After 80 minutes of play, the score is Nashville 8 goals, 8-56. New York Magpies 9 goals, 4-58. In a fantastic performance here at the Barassi Cup.
What a superb game of football. What a great game played by everyone today. Sensational work. Fantastic work by the New York Magpies. Just a screamer. I was biting my nails. I don't think I've got any left here today.
Sam, the intensity of the game was just sensational.
It was absolutely sensational. It's good that the boys could take it up to the Roos in their home turf. And that was a sensational game, a sensational result for New York. Tommy Wilson played a great game there today. Tommy, give me your feelings on this game. How do you feel about that, mate?
Great.
Yes, excellent, excellent. Guy Illuminato in the centre, working hard all day. What do you think, mate?
Hot or what?
Damn, they're hot. Damn, they're hot. Gary, what did you think of that one, mate?
Thought it was really awesome.
And Adam, for his first game in the ruck for the New York Magpies, what a sensational game. Absolutely. And who else have we got here? Juicer. Earned the respect of the commentators today. Sensational work. And where's that Tommy Hayes character?
He's around.
Oh, I think I've run out of film.
Down Tommy Hayes.
Well, mate, it was probably between you and Tommy Hayes, actually. Well, actually, Malax put a dib in as well.
We all put a dib in.
I think everyone put a dib in today.
Everyone who started in the first game set the tone and it kept going. It was fucking beautiful.
It was a fucking sensational game to watch and a great game to be part of. Great game to be part of the New York Magpies.
Go and fucking go out. Go to Disney World, whatever.
Great work, backline.
Yeah, great work by that Milosopha's itch. Tommy Hayes.
Three-quarter time was delivered.
What do you think of that, mate? 5 goals, you've got to be pretty happy with that one.
Ball bounced my way this game.
Oh, mate, that was great work. Good to be in that position. One more and I would have been in a pink dress.
Couple things. Down the last quarter, when the ball was stuck in that pocket,
Yeah, well done, Pato. Great work. Hey, guys, I've got a question to ask you. Are those pies hot?
Yeah! I believe they are.
Hot pot.
If we can convince the boys from New York, if you'd like a cup to put on.
Game of footy seen here in Nashville ever, and probably in this country. Congratulate these players, they're just awesome. Right now we'd like to present the McPherson's commentary man of the match, which is different to everyone else because we have a blind man voting for this in the commentary position. And today's bottle of McPherson's 2000 Shiraz goes to Guy Illuminato.
Nice, Loomy.
Congratulations, Guy.
Thanks, guys. I just want to say it was a great game, and you're going to go a long way. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Guy. And if we could get the coaches of the New York Magpies, James Patterson and Grant White from the Nashville Kangaroos up here. I will hand over to Peter Bear and Captain Steve Trico to do the honours with the Barassi Cup.
All right, thanks, Shane. Guys, let's hear it for these teams out here today. It hurts to lose. Everyone knows how much I love the Nashville Kangaroos, but boy, if we're going to lose, that's the team to lose to. So congratulations to the New York team.